What would happen if dinosaurs never went extinct? What if they never stopped evolving? 65 million years ago, dinosaurs ruled the Earth. They dominated every era they appeared in, becoming the lords of the animal kingdom. Then, suddenly, everything changed. An asteroid struck Earth, wiping out all dinosaur species, causing their extinction. But what if things had gone differently? If dinosaurs were still roaming the Earth, how would their bodies have changed over time? How would they adapt to the changing planet? Welcome back, everyone. Today, let's flip history 66 million years back. Death came from space. A massive rock called Chicxulub, with a diameter of 10 kilometers, tore through the atmosphere. It crashed into the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico at an unstoppable speed. The impact released energy equivalent to 100 trillion tons of TNT. This number is billions of times more powerful than the atomic bombs used in World War II. At that moment, life officially faced a death sentence. Destruction erupted immediately. The collision sent waves of tsunamis, hundreds of meters high, sweeping away everything in their path. Millions of tons of molten debris were ejected into space and then fell back to Earth like a rain of fire. Wildfires broke out across the globe. Thick smoke and ash rose into the sky, completely blocking sunlight. Earth was plunged into absolute darkness. When the light disappeared, photosynthesis stopped, causing all plant life to dry up. The food supply was abruptly cut off. Herbivorous animals collapsed from starvation, leading to the extinction of the carnivores. Global temperatures plummeted dramatically as dust clouds covered the planet, creating a prolonged nuclear winter. The final result was catastrophic. 75% of life on Earth was completely wiped out. This truth teaches us about the fragile boundaries of existence. Only the smallest, most adaptable creatures could survive through this narrow window. This is not a science fiction story, but a real-life lesson about the destructive power of the universe. Earth was once ravaged like this, and history marked the most brutal mass extinction that life ever had to endure. The evolutionary history of this planet contains a terrifying potential. If the extinction event hadn't occurred, species wouldn't have enjoyed a peaceful life, but would have been forced to mutate their body structures in astonishing ways. As flowering plants expanded across vast areas, the curiosity of researchers turned toward the Maniraptoran dinosaur group. From carnivorous species, they underwent a complete transformation, shrinking in size to that of small primates, eliminating naturally growing teeth, and developing a hard beak structure to crack open fruit shells. The herbivorous hadrosaurid dinosaurs developed jaw structures containing hundreds of cross-bordered teeth. This structure allowed them to completely chew and crush even the toughest plant tissues. This process of body structure mutation continued until Earth suddenly triggered an extreme temperature rise 55 million years ago. A massive amount of carbon was released into the atmosphere, causing global temperatures to spike by 8 degrees Celsius in just 20,000 years. This catastrophic temperature change wiped out countless small creatures, but gave a terrifying survival advantage to the dinosaurs weighing tens of tons. Their colossal body volume kept their internal temperature stable, preventing heat shock. The global heat forced large reptiles and giant dinosaurs to migrate en masse to the northern and southern polar regions, turning these once cold areas into habitat zones for super heavy reptiles. This concentration was disrupted around 23 million years ago, when water levels across the planet sharply dropped. Forests rapidly degraded, and weeds began to take over, occupying 40% of the land area. Inside these weeds were countless tiny silica stone particles. Chewing these grasses destroyed and eroded the teeth of every animal. To avoid starvation, the ceratopsian dinosaur group had no choice but to evolve continuously growing teeth from below. On the open lands, where no trees provided cover, the pressure of being hunted forced both herbivores and carnivores to extend their leg joints. They altered their body's aerodynamics to push their sprinting speed up to 60 kilometers per hour, directly determining life or death on the grasslands. Look at the Tyrannosaurus rex. Through tens of millions of years of rigorous selection, its facial structure shrank to make room for massive eyes pointing forward. This change created extreme vision, allowing it to locate prey from miles away with pinpoint accuracy. Its tiny forelimbs now developed into long, muscular, and flexible arms. The T-Rex no longer just bit, it had the ability to grab and tear its prey apart. A giant predator with piercing vision and powerful arms would be the result of extreme body refinement at the highest level. The Velociraptor didn't stop at ground hunts. Its primitive feather system underwent a profound structural transformation, evolving into fully formed wings. These 45-kilogram hunters possessed highly developed brains, allowing them to devise astonishingly complex pack hunting strategies. Their ability to attack from the air turned them into ghostly figures of the sky. Any small creature moving on the ground became a target for their high-speed aerial strikes. This was a leap in both intellect and mobility, creating a suffocating survival pressure across the entire ecosystem. Pterodactyls, the terrifying flying reptiles, would push the physical limits of their kind. Their wingspans wouldn't stop at 11 meters, but would grow to the size of a small building. Their bone and wing structures would completely transform to withstand atmospheric pressure. These creatures wouldn't just fly, they would dominate the space above, like mobile fortresses. Every time they took off, the ground below would be shrouded in darkness, signaling the presence of an entity that completely controlled the atmosphere. Their existence would be proof that size could reach unimaginable scales if given enough time to adapt. Brontosaurus and similar species would no longer be easy targets. Natural selection would favor individuals with thick, tough skins, as hard as biological armor, to resist the penetrating bites from the T-Rex's jaws. Their digestive systems would undergo superior upgrades, becoming as complex as modern mammals to process the toughest and driest plants. Their body size would continue to surge, turning them into invulnerable giants. What would the world be like if we never existed? If you love these fascinating scientific hypotheses, make sure to hit subscribe. 2.5 million years ago, when the Ice Age cycle began and froze the planet's surface, environmental temperatures dropped to a staggering minus 40 degrees Celsius, and snow covered the land for up to 8 months each year. To survive the deadly cold, animals had no choice but to maximize their volume and weight. The descendants of the Triceratops grew to 9 tons and developed a thick, insulating coat of feathers covering their entire body. The descendants of the brutal predator T-Rex, they shrank in length to just 5 meters to increase agility, and completely transformed their fur pigmentation to a white-gray color. This change allowed them to blend seamlessly into the snowy environment, becoming invisible and incredibly dangerous predators in the freezing cold. If the asteroid hadn't wiped out the giants, our ancestors would never have had the chance to explode in numbers or status. In the actual course of history, mammals only took over biological niches after the large reptiles fell. Without that event, humans would have had to face predators with millions of years of experience in targeting prey. Instead of standing at the top of the food chain, humanity would have been just a weak link, a rich source of protein for the true rulers. Survival competition would become a hanging death sentence, where every slip-up would lead to the extinction of the entire species. The pressure from these super predators would force the human body to evolve in a humbling way for survival. Natural selection wouldn't favor high intelligence or large stature. It would force human genes to shrink. A smaller body size would help us hide more easily in cracks or tree hollows, places where the T-Rex's jaws or the raptor's claws couldn't reach. Running speed and reflexes would need to reach their maximum limit for a single purpose: to escape. There would be no stable communities because staying in one place would be suicide. Humans would have to live a solitary, nomadic life, constantly moving in the dark to avoid the gaze of giant flying reptiles. The accumulation of knowledge and technology would stagnate because the entire species' energy would be focused on surviving day to day. The most terrifying truth is that humans would lose their position as the only intelligent species. This is a harsh educational lesson about the luck of history. If not for a physical impact from space, we might have just been a small mammal species living in fear, never able to lift our heads to the sky we now dominate. About 6 million years ago, based on the evolutionary traits of certain dinosaur species, it's possible they still existed. But what about us? Could we survive freezing temperatures and giant, fearsome predators? If we had survived alongside these prehistoric creatures, we might very well see a real T-Rex in a conservation park, just like in Jurassic Park.